Hi, it's Olena of popthepimple.com and welcome to today's live pop talk where we join up every weekday at 3-ish p.m. Paris time, and it's 3:05, so I'm like pretty much on time to talk about stuff and meditate. Hi guys, hi Michaela and Miss K, good to see you guys. So welcome. And I washed my hair today. Yay! What a great fucking accomplishment. Yes! Even managed to do my nails, which is like also a big accomplishment. It's my me time. I love it. Self-care all the way. Okay. I hope everyone's having a good day. Let me know where you're coming from, like what country. I'd love to know. It's always interesting. Country or city, because sometimes like if everyone's like US, you know, it's more interesting to know where in the US you are, because countries are big, right? All right, so today lots to discuss. I got a question from somebody. Somebody DM'd me a question, and I wonder if it's something that you guys could relate to. Ooh, hi, Michaela says, I'm from Slovakia. That's so cool. Wow. Far away and awesome. Ooh, which Stada says Norway. Haha, that's so cool. Norway. I love the idea of these countries, you know, and you being in them and us connecting here. I just love technology. It's just so special and so magical. Hi, DSLIDKSS. Good to see you. Alrighty. So the question that I got from one of you is, let's see. I didn't screenshot the beginning, but it's about handling negative emotions. And this person was saying something, and then emotionally in general or with anger. And in the moments, it's like my rationality is completely blown away and I behave badly with people around me, but most importantly with myself, because I feel bad emotions and I don't like all that. I would like to manage my bad emotions and anger and transform it into solutions and positive energy. Great. It's easier when I'm in alignment and happy, of course, but there are these days off. And what do you think about that? How do you manage anger and bad emotions, reacting to events? And then she says, often this happens to me with things like people leaving messes, like not helping me with home stuff and things like that. And then she continues, one day I became angry because I arrived later and people at work already had breakfast but left crumbs all over the table. Also where I usually sit, and I felt discomfort eating like that, and I just became mad. My grandma took a relaxing thing, like a pill, like a herbal thing, all her life, and is still taking it. And my mom gets angry all the time with home stuff in general and tends to overreact and is very emotional. And she too takes sometimes relaxing drinks. But I don't like that. I want to be different, manage my emotions by myself and being happy always without giving meaning to these things, but to things that really matter in life. And when I'm high vibe, I do that and can manage situations easily. Low vibe, I don't know. It's like my ego winning. I get confused after that because that's not the way I would like to behave and be and feel. But at the same time, it's like an automatic reaction. Wow, this is so fucking good. Who can relate to this, by the way? For those of you joining, hello, because I can see so many new people have joined. So this person has just, the question that I'm reading is a person who has a hard time feeling angry, but she gets angry. And firstly, what I have to say to you is like, hands up, like I can relate. Who doesn't fucking get angry? We're still human, right? Even as these trying to be evolved and spiritual and all this stuff, we're still human and we still get triggered, right? But what's beautiful about this person's question is how aware she is of the fact that she's being triggered, right? She is aware of her trigger. She notices, even she calls it an automatic reaction, right? She notices an automatic way that she responds to her environment, right? And she doesn't like it. She's like, what the fuck? Which is awesome because like I said to you guys in the last two Pop Talks, when we feel bad, there's a reason for that. It's unnatural, right? So when we're aware of us feeling bad, that's amazing data. That contrast only lets us know that there's something else we want besides the thing that's in front of us. And that's all that it ever really fucking means, right? And it's so awesome that we get to have this contrast because that contrast always equals clarity, the clarity of our truest desires, right? And so I hope this perspective alone kind of gets you guys to stop feeling bad about feeling bad, right? Because it happens. Sometimes our energy is a little low. Sometimes we didn't take the time in the beginning of the day to get in alignment, right? Like today I didn't do my usual reading. I did my, because I had some time to myself. And so I took that time to watch some reality TV. Do I feel different today than I did yesterday? Fuck yes. Yesterday, I took the time to center myself, read my spiritual books, feel really fucking good and inspired, right? Today, it's not that I'm uninspired, but I'm not as inspired as I could be, right? Though these Pop Talks are very inspiring and that's why I do them. They're like total alignment for me, right? So it doesn't matter where I was before the Pop Talk. Usually when I pop on here, I'm like up here very, very quickly, right? But I noticed that difference, right? And that's an example where we need to reset. We need to reset our vibrational set point, right? To be where it is natural for it to be, and it's vibing high. And the way to do that, once again, is to take some time to journal, to read a book that you enjoy, an audiobook, to listen to one, whatever. Listen to a fucking happy song first thing in the morning, you know? But you and we are responsible for our own vibration, right? Our own set point. But also what's interesting is we can, get centered and get really connected with ourselves and really get into the whole, put on our deliberate creator panties, right? First thing in the morning, great. But still things throughout the day will potentially trigger us. So it's important to check in with yourself throughout the day and be like, all right, my intention is to feel good. My priority is me feeling good. My priority is tending to my vibration, right? That's my priority. And when you make that like conscious effort to make it your priority so that it's like top of mind, so you haven't forgotten, because it's easy to forget. The trigger comes, you've forgotten, right? But if you make it a priority to remind yourself throughout the day that you're a deliberate motherfucking creator, the panties are still on, the deliberate creator panties are still on, they've never gotten off. You just change them every day so that they're clean, right? But they're always deliberate creator panties that we're wearing, right? So they're still on, and your priority is still to maintain that vibration. So when you make that conscious effort, and when it becomes a deliberate awareness that you carry throughout the day, then when the triggers come, right? When somebody leaves a mess or whatever the fuck, because we all have different triggers, right? But we all have them. That's the point. No one is special in this. Nobody, like, we all have our fucking triggers, okay? There's different things for different folks. And usually the triggers are something that has been taught to us from an early age, And then what's interesting is she noticed that her grandmother and her mother kind of also had the same triggers, the same triggers for getting reactive and angry. And it's beautiful that she noticed that this is an automatic pattern. She's learned this behavior from other people. This is not her natural state to get angry at crumbs. It's not her natural state. It's nobody's natural state to get angry, right? Like I told you guys, our natural state is joy. Everything gets to feel good. Everything gets to feel easy. We get to be healthy. We get to be abundant. We get to be fucking fabulous. That is our natural state. But we learn other ways of coping with our, environment from the people around us from an early age. And so we take on those identities, we take on those responses, and those things become natural to us. So, of course, the vibration of the people around us from an early age, if they're reactive and angry and stuff like that, we pick that up and that becomes a part of our identity, even though that isn't our vibrational set point, right? That isn't our original essence. It's just something that we pick up and learn, and it becomes us until we become aware of it and unlearn that shit, right? And what is so amazing about this person who wrote this question is she's aware, because that's the first step. We can't change shit if we're not aware of what needs changing, right? If we're not aware, oh fuck, I am a deliberate creator. I get to create my experience, and I've just been responding to shit. Okay, I'm tired. I'm tired of that. Don't like it anymore. I'm good. I can see the contrast. Okay, I can see what I really want from this situation. I can now relax, and have a different response to these things, right? So the first step is, of course, awareness, and this person has got it. So what else can I say about this? What was the initial question? She said, what do you think about that? How do you manage anger and bad emotions? So one thing I have to say is anger and bad emotions are not actually bad emotions. We don't have to be very hard on ourselves, because most of us are, especially when we're going through this spiritual growth. We assume that at some point we'll just be so fucking chilled out that we will never react. We'll always respond. We'll first take a breath, we'll think it over, and then maybe we'll, have some beautiful, peaceful, evolved answer to the situation at hand, right? But what I think is important to note here is we have to be kind to ourselves as we evolve. We can't expect instant fucking perfection, because it took years of learning those mental patterns and, the angry responses and shit. Or I should call it a reaction, because there's a difference between responding and reacting. A response is something that serves you, and a reaction is something that usually doesn't, right? A reaction is usually of the ego. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh my God, I was saying some stuff. How do you manage anger and bad emotions? Right. So anger is actually a pretty active emotion. It's not the worst emotion to be feeling, right? It's not like anger is down here, actually. Anger is kind of down here. If we were to rate the emotions and their vibrational frequency, right? Or vibration. Happiness and joy and appreciation and love, they're up there, right? Depression and stuff like that. I don't know what else is the bad ones, the really, really low ones that are hard to bounce back from, those are kind of at the bottom, but anger is higher up. It's more of an active thing. It's actually better to be angry than to be depressed. And some depressed people, it serves them to get angry instead of depressed, because that means they've actually found relief from where they were at. Because the way you go from a low vibration to a high vibration is simply looking for relief. And the way you look for relief is, of course, by choosing thoughts that feel a little better than the thoughts that you were previously thinking. And the way to know that you're reaching for a better feeling thought is when you feel relief. Yeah. So feeling angry is actually, it serves you when you're feeling depressed, for instance, right? Because it's a step up. It's a few steps up than being depressed. And then from there, you can look for something else, and then you finally find yourself feeling good again. Because it's very, very hard to go from a negative emotion to a positive one, right, like that. You kind of need to move your way up, because vibrationally speaking, only wherever you're vibing, that's all that you're attracting. And those are the thoughts that are available to you. So when you're frustrated, you're attracting frustrating thoughts. So you continue to be in your state of frustration. It takes a little bit of effort to look for thoughts of, maybe hope or something else that makes you feel a little more relieved, right? And you have to reason with yourself really in the head and realize that you have total control over your thinking. It's when your mind runs wild that then it starts to spiral and spiral and spiral, because that's how the law of attraction works, right? You draw onto yourself wherever you're at vibrationally. So again, how do you manage anger and bad emotions? Well, just the realization that you're having an automatic response to something, it's usually something small. You notice anger in general happens around small things. And as soon as we become aware of our trigger, then we can respond differently. We can take a breath, be like, okay, I'm a deliberate creator. Am I really angry at this? What would love do? And you just find ways of making yourself feel better. It's a self-soothing thing that we all have to learn to do. And it's something that a lot of us lack as humans, is the skill to self-soothe and to just like reason with oneself, right? And to like, I'm going to calm myself down. I don't need somebody else to calm me down. I don't need somebody else's behavior, opinion, or anything else to change in order for me to feel better. I will be responsible for how I feel, and I will make myself feel better, right? And so taking that responsibility for yourself, taking your power back, is a really important, I think, awareness and skill to have in managing any emotions that you have, right? Nobody else can do that for you. So, and the other thing we have to become aware of is a condition outside of us will never make us happy. When we're vibing low, we tend to blame things outside of us for why we're feeling the way we're feeling. But which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, in this case, it's the vibe. The vibe came first, and then it's the circumstances around you that are a mirror, a reflection of your vibration, right? So it's not like, you were vibing up here and then you saw crumbs. Well, firstly, or created these crumbs that annoy the fuck out of you, right? You were probably not vibing up here, and so when you saw the crumbs, you were pissed off. You saw the crumbs. Because if I was vibing up here, I probably wouldn't see the crumbs. And in fact, I can totally relate to this person, because I grew up in also a household where crumbs were a fucking big ass deal, right? Water droplets were a big ass deal, and it taught me perfectionism. And then life was like, okay, no, I have to let go of the perfectionism. It doesn't really serve me, right? But what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say that the ego will make things like crumbs, water droplets, feel like a big deal, right? The ego will be like, this means all these things about you. If you leave crumbs behind, you're a blah, 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 blah. And you have to become aware of the fact that if somebody else leaves crumbs behind and it's something that you don't like, you cannot use it as an excuse to judge this other person. Because that's something that the ego it's so insidious. The ego will find ways to blow up somebody else's mistake, right? Like, because crumbs is literally, like, it's not like people are intentional with leaving behind crumbs, you know what I mean? But some people do, and they might not notice that they're doing it, and they will not know that they're impacting somebody else in this way at all. Because really, they're not. Because the only person that has any control over your emotions and how you're feeling is you, and you choosing the thoughts that you're choosing to think about the crumbs, right? It's all up to you. It's not the other person and the crumbs, right? But the ego is this insidious motherfucker that will be like, oh, this person left the crumbs. This person is so lazy or inconsiderate or messy or, I dislike this person, and it just creates all the separation, right? Because the ego works in separation. That's the way the ego stays alive. It loves separation. It will find any way for you to separate from somebody else. And the way it loves to work is through judgment, condemnation, and criticism. The ego loves this shit. Because the ego's like, I can do no wrong, but when you do wrong, you know what I mean? But then when you do actually do wrong, then the ego's like, oh, but you did wrong. And the ego loves to just fixate on an error. The ego sees error. But what's interesting is, according to the Course in Miracles, is there's no such thing. There is no mistakes. Not in the real world. This is going to get a little trippy, but because in the Course in Miracles, it says that the only thing that exists is love. Okay, that's one thing that exists, and it is love. So when we think in terms of the absence of love, right? When we're seeing error, when we're judging, when we're criticizing, right? That's not love. That's fucking the absence of love, right? So what we're doing is actually hallucinating. We're seeing what is unreal, hallucinating. And the job of us, our job here, in order to see past the hallucination, is to see the innocence in the person in front of us, right? Now I'm kind of taking it further than dealing with negative emotions, but yeah, when we see all the separation between us, it's easy to get upset and angry at somebody for whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's this big or huge, right? But our job here, and this is kind of the tricky part, is seeing the innocence in literally everybody. It doesn't matter who did what to me when. I have to see their innocence. I have to love them all the same, because that is how we lift everybody up, right? It doesn't help anybody to judge them, criticize them, condemn them. It doesn't help me to do that to you, and it doesn't help you to feel as though I'm judging you, condemning you, or criticizing you. In fact, that's the least powerful way in which I can get you to change. The least powerful way, the worst way possible, right? So if we want the circumstances outside of us to change, we have to first change the way we think, therefore the vibration that we hold, and therefore everything outside of us will begin to change, right? If so, this person, she's right. She knows. She says, when I'm in alignment, I'm cool. I'm not mad, right? Of course. But the job is to maintain that alignment. And I think a lot of us, we think that alignment is something that happens once a week, great, happens once a day, great. But it's our natural state. It's what we deserve to feel all the time. It is what is natural for us to feel all the time, right? So it's really about dismantling patterns. It's just becoming aware, and it's just about taking a breath. It's also about not judging yourself when you are feeling these ways. When you are feeling angry, frustrated, annoyed, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. But lately what I found is, the more I practice all this stuff and the more I become aware of all these things, I find that when I do get angry, I stop blaming. Because before in the past, it would be like, if I'm angry, it's because you did something, you did it to me. But nowadays, it's like, if I'm angry, I'm like, okay, I'm clearly practicing a thought that is making me angry, and I'm taking instant responsibility for my anger. It's not a blame game anymore, right? And so that just kind of happens with practice and with awareness, so be kind with yourself. Know that it will get easier the more you become aware and the more you practice just being less reactive, right? But I just want to point out, for those of us who maybe get angry in close relationships, right? Not necessarily coworkers, but like in our close relationships, because that usually is the place where a lot of us will expend our anger, because it's like almost a safe place. Like, you're sticking around, you're not leaving, so I'm going to just vent and make you like my fucking soundboard for all my anger. That's not fair. That is really, really not fair, and we cannot expect people to stick around with us for a long ass time and enjoy being our partner or whatever. In our lives, enjoy being in our lives, if that's the way we treat them, right? We can't take the people in our lives for granted and treat them like shit just because we can, okay? That's also a very important consideration, I feel like, because that's how relationships end. A person will have their fill. They will realize at some point that I do not deserve this. This person is projecting. This person is taking their old ass baggage and projecting it onto me and giving it to me. Like, I'm not responsible for your fucking baggage, right? Work through your shit kind of thing. And I know that sounds like a tough pill to swallow, but we are all responsible for how we feel, how we react, for how we decide to be, and how to make, you know what I mean? Like, how we want to make other people's feel. It's all our decision. And Me, for instance, I want to make the people around me feel good, right? Of course, that doesn't always work. Thank you for being understanding, right? I mean, none of us are perfect, and that's why we forgive our loved ones. And me, I recommend forgiving our loved ones without even needing them to apologize, because that's what it means to see the innocence in another, right? When somebody snaps at you, or, like that you love, right? Don't try to make them feel bad about it. They are making themselves feel bad enough about it, right? That's another thing I think to consider in all of this. Does this make sense? Let me see what you guys are saying. Because I see some comments. Hello from the Philippines. That's so cool, Rianne. Yay. I love that. Hania official. That's so cool. Love to see you here. Jubek Marie. Yay. Good. Oh, I know Jubek Marie. She's cool. She's a cool chick. The one and only Saram says, "Hey Olena, you're simply amazing. Where does one send you questions? Also, can you talk sometime about what you eat in a day and emotional eating if possible?" Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You can send any questions you have in the DMs, and if I can answer them, I do. If they're not like too long and arduous, if they're not like review my skincare, But if they're questions you want me to address on a live pop talk, then yeah, you can just send them over in the DM or write them here. What I eat in a day is usually, I don't have like a full thing because it changes all the time, but I usually just do an Instagram story, and I have an Instagram story here called, I think, Medicine. And you can see basically all the kinds of meals that I do eat, including some of my indulgences, because I do sometimes indulge. But generally I eat, I want to say 80 to 90% whole foods, no inflammatory oils, very low on gluten and grains and dairy, with the occasional cheese. And I like milk is not my best friend, but it's the occasional dessert that I do have with some dairy in it, and I'm totally fine with that. So I have a very kind of balanced approach to eating. I don't live with restrictions. I don't do calorie counting and all this stuff. I have a very relaxed approach to food, is what I'm saying. But I do, care about myself, so I do take good care of myself, obviously. But other things are really important, like meditation, sleep, and staying in alignment. By the way, guys, nothing means anything if you're out of alignment. It doesn't matter how well you eat. It doesn't matter how amazing your skincare routine if you're out of alignment. This is what I found. This is literally the most important thing. That's why the last 3 lives in a row, I'm like driving the point home about alignment. And by alignment, I mean just choosing to feel good without making something outside of you the reason why you feel good, right? That is all that it means. Alignment is when you and your inner being are fucking speaking the same language, you're thinking the same thoughts. That's all that it means. And when we're out of alignment, that's when we're fucking stressed and we're worried and we're fearful. We don't trust ourselves and we make all the wrong fucking decisions, and then all the outcomes fucking suck. And if the miracle is happening in front of you, you don't fucking see it because you're out of alignment. And that's why, that's the most important thing. When you're in alignment, when you're choosing to feel good, that is the ultimate act of self-love. And so when whatever you choose to eat, whatever you choose to put on your face, whatever you choose to do in your day, it will automatically serve you. Because when you're in alignment, that's when you can't make mistakes. Like, even if they look like mistakes, they're not mistakes, they're still serving you because you're in alignment. That is the ultimate life hack. There is no bigger life hack than getting into alignment. Again, getting into alignment doesn't mean you have to read 17 spiritual books, practice meditation for 6 hours a day, be a vegan, and I don't know what else. Do incense in your house and fucking Reiki healing and yoga all the time. No, that is not what alignment means, because you could be totally out of alignment while you're meditating, while you're doing yoga, while you're, mindfully eating. You can be totally out of alignment. You can be doing all the things, right? But your vibration can be fucked. And so you're not getting any of the benefits of all these things that you're practicing or doing or efforting towards, if you're out of alignment. Alignment is the key. And my thing is, in the beginning of this live, I was saying, we have to do that emotional reset. We have to, gratitude is really the biggest, reset for getting back into alignment, is just trying to see what you're grateful for in the moment that feels maybe shitty. Maybe the moment feels totally fucked. You're angry, and just try your darnest to find something you're grateful for. Or ask yourself what you want. The easiest thing when you're actually feeling shitty, by the way, is to realize once again that why you're feeling shitty is a thought that you're having, right? But you're probably thinking like, oh, the thing in front of me is causing me to feel shitty. So when you feel that way, ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Because the situation is just showing you what it is that you do want rather than what you don't want. So the situation in front of you may look like what you don't want, but again, it's only pointing you in the direction of what you do want. So when you ask yourself, what is it that I do want, when the thing in front of you is shitty, in your opinion, right? Suddenly, your focus is not on the thing that you don't want, it's on what you do want. And your point of attraction shifts, and so does your vibration. And so the more you think about what it is that you do want, now your vibration is shifting, and it's feeling better. You're feeling more and more relief from that old thought that you were thinking that was causing your vibration to fucking dip. Does this make sense? So yeah, the answer to everything is fucking alignment. And the more I learn, the more I live in this body, the more I'm like, oh, it was all about alignment this whole time, Yeah, including acne. The answer to everything is alignment first. Alignment first, and then all the other steps can fall into place. And for those of you who are new to my pop talks, I just want you to know my philosophy in terms of healing anything. But especially, right, acne, since that's a big topic that I cover, it is alignment first. But my philosophy is simple, like as in it gets to be easy. Your natural state is ease, feeling good, right? So my thing is, let's get you to get the clear skin as quickly as possible so that then there's nothing outside of you, or there's not that thing that you were focusing for a long ass time and using it as an excuse for why you're out of alignment, right? I want you to be able to get into alignment as quickly as possible so that then everything else falls into place, right? But ideally, it would be like you get into alignment, then you implement your amazing new skincare routine. You see how easy life gets to be, and then you use that awareness for everything in your life, as in you realize that everything in your life gets to be that simple, that easy, and feels that good, right? So does that make sense? That's kind of my approach to these things, because then I want you to be able to, choose the food that you want to eat from a place of alignment. I don't want you to choose the food only to focus on the outcome of clear skin, because that will just be a recipe for disaster. You'll be more stressed. You'll some of you actually, create actual eating disorders and stuff, because you're like, if I ate this, then I broke out. Oh my God, every time I eat anything, I break out. I must stop eating. You know what I mean? And it's like this terrible cycle, terrible, unhealthy, doesn't help you cycle, and doesn't get you clear skin ultimately, right? Because it comes from a place of out of alignment. If you're out of alignment, if you're vibing down here, like, it doesn't matter how healthy you eat, right? It doesn't matter how many restrictions you have. You won't have what you want because you're out of alignment. It's impossible, because what you want feels good. And if you don't feel good, then it's unavailable to you. And that's just how it works. All right. My K Beauty Bible says, "Hi, Olena. I love all your pop talks. Thank you. I'm watching the replay tonight, but I have a skincare question. I would really appreciate if you could answer." All right. "I'm studying makeup, and my teachers don't apply sunscreen before makeup because they say there's no sunscreen that doesn't have a white layer or something on camera with a flash." Okay. I feel so bad not applying sunscreen, obviously. I mean, to my models, because I always apply sunscreen. Do you know sunscreen that doesn't leave that layer on the camera with the flash? Thank you so much. That's interesting. They might be referring to sunscreen containing zinc, but I know that there's only a flashback, really, that white appearance on camera from silica containing powders. Some powders contain silica, right? Like they're usually finishing powders or mattifying powders. And it's the silica that has the major flashback. This isn't my area of expertise, like what leaves a flashback or what doesn't. Besides silica, it's just something that I learned in passing, right? So it's not something I spent time researching. So I'm not sure if like zinc oxide, for instance, does have a flashback effect, because I always wear sunscreen, right? And I don't like flash photography because it's more of like my skin has a shine to it, right? That's accentuated. Not that the whiteness of my face is accentuated because of sunscreen. So I'm not sure. That's a very good question. Something to look into, but honestly, lately, I don't have the time to look into these things. This is a privilege to look into that. Nikita Karki says, how do you get alignment? Ooh. It's not how you get alignment, because alignment is your natural state. And like I like to describe it, because of this is directly from the Law of Attraction books, is you're a cork bobbing on the water. So that's the natural state of a cork, right? Bobbing on the water. But when you drag the cork down, like literally physically drag the cork down, the cork is now underwater. So though it's underwater, it doesn't mean it's its natural state, because if you just let go of the cork, it bobs back up on the water. That is our natural state. We are like that cork bobbing on the water. So what are we doing to drag that cork under the water, right? It's just the thoughts that we're thinking. It's literally guys, this is how simple it is. We live in a vibrational universe. Whatever vibration we vibrate is whatever comes into our experience. So if I'm fucking joyful as fuck, that's a high vibration. So anything that comes into experience is of that high vibration. Anything that is a low vibration just filters itself out, right? So sometimes I'm thinking thoughts like, ungrateful thoughts. I'm thinking like, oh, I wish I had more this. Oh, I don't have enough this. I'm focusing on a problem. Those thoughts that I'm having are dragging me under the water. The cork is going under the water, right? So the only thing I need to be aware of is what I'm thinking. So like, what thoughts am I thinking that are dragging my vibration down? And start reaching for better feeling thoughts, because the best thoughts are not available to you when you're vibing low, right? They're just not yet. But the job is to get yourself to that state of vibing high again. But the easiest way to do this, and we're going to do this, soon, is meditate. And why meditation works is because when you're meditating, you're focusing on your breath. So you're not really focusing on your thoughts. So even though you're having thoughts, because you're not aware of the thoughts that you're having, since you're focusing on the meditation, right? They're not really there's no energy there, right? And so it's almost like you just let go of all the things dragging the cork underneath the water, and the cork can bob back up. And after meditation, I always find, like, I'm not angry ever. I'm not like anxious. I'm not any of those things, because those thoughts are no longer being entertained, right? I'm not having those thoughts anymore because I wasn't really having any thoughts. You know what I mean? Because I was focused on my breath. That's the only thing that I was focused on. And so that's really the key in life, is where are we placing our focus? But just to reiterate, vibration is determined by your thoughts. That's it. Thoughts equal your vibration. Your vibration equal your thoughts. Thoughts, vibration, same thing, right? So what are the thoughts that you're having? Are they of gratitude? Are they of like, oh my God, my life is so fucking amazing, right? Or is it on lack, on the absence of the thing that you want, right? Because many of us, we focus on the thing that we don't have yet. Well, I don't have clear skin. Oh, all this acne on my face. Oh, I feel so stressed about it. Oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. And that's your inner dialogue. So if your inner dialogue is, I'm angry, I'm mad at this person, I'm so frustrated at this person, this society, this law, this whatever that you don't like, then you're not changing anything outside of you. You're making something outside of you your source. You're giving your power away. You're saying, if this thing outside of me changes, then I'll feel good. And that's just simply not how it works, because every single one of us is a deliberate creator. But we're a creator, period, even when we're not deliberate with it. Meaning that we're still creating, sometimes unintentionally. When we're, focused so much on the things that we don't like, some people are obsessed with the things that they don't like. They're complaining all the time. They're criticizing all the time. They're judging all the time. The thing that they don't like, they're focused on it. Guess the fuck what? That thing becomes their life. It becomes their life because they have spent so much energy focused there on the thing that they don't like. Because this universe is an inclusive one, right? So if I'm saying I want cake, I'll get cake. If I'm saying I don't want cake, I'll get cake because I'm focused on not wanting cake. I'm saying, I don't want cake. I don't want cake. I just told you 17 times that I don't want cake. Like, I do not want cake. But yet, where am I focused? Cake, right? So I still get the cake. So that's how the universe works. So we have to be very careful with what thoughts we're entertaining. That's how simple it really is. And we can't blame anybody for our experience because it all comes down to us choosing our vibe. But again, we're creating deliberately or not, but we're still creating, right? But when we're aware of the fact that we get to be deliberate with it, we get to guide our own thoughts. By guiding our own thoughts, we can guide the outcomes and we can create the future. I mean, we are in the present with our present vibration, we're creating our future. So the more I practice being in alignment, holy fuck, my future's gonna be epic. And I don't have to plan it out. I just know it's gonna be epic. I can trust that my inner being has shit figured out better than I do, right? And I know it's gonna be amazing. So the only thing I need to do, literally, like there's nothing I actually need to do as an effort. I don't have to take any actions, but I need to get into alignment. That's the only thing I'm responsible for. And then you'll find that when you're in alignment, you're inspired to take certain actions that you may have not ever been inspired to take before. And they just feel natural and you don't even understand why you feel the need to do them, but you do. And then something crazy happens and then something else and you're like, holy fuck, it's a miracle. Yeah, because you were in alignment. Does that make sense? The one and only Saram says, thanks so much, Olena. Do you have any advice for emotional eating or using food for comfort when you're feeling negative emotions? Yeah, the reason why we do that is because we distract ourselves from feeling the emotions that we're feeling because we don't understand what they mean. Most of us, we don't want to feel bad. We don't want to feel fear. We don't want to feel frustrated or angry, right? So instead of feeling the feelings, we eat, we shop, we procrastinate, whatever, right? There's different ways of distracting yourself from feeling the feelings, except that the feelings are our internal guidance system guiding us, right? Because there is something that we all want. What you want may be different from what I want. There's stuff that I ultimately want to experience in this body, okay? My inner being knows what that is totally all the time and supports me in getting it as quickly as I can, right? Me, I'm like getting distracted left and right with shit, right? With my negative emotions sometimes. But the only thing that the negative emotion points to is me taking a detour. So instead of me taking the shortest route to my desire coming true in my experience, I'm getting distracted. And anytime I do, that's my, think of it as a GPS, right? My GPS is telling me you're taking a detour, circle back and keep going kind of thing, right? But that GPS for us is emotions. So instead of it being a voice that says, hey, you're taking a fucking detour, instead of getting what you want, you're going sideways, okay? So we feel bad. So feeling bad is just data. That's the point. So when you feel bad, when you feel angry, that's just data. Something's not working, right? And you have to ask yourself, what is it that I really do want in that moment? Because that's all the data that you're getting. You're just getting clearer on what you do want. You're getting more clarity. That's all that negative emotions mean. So instead of us getting distracted, when we get distracted when we're feeling bad, right? That's us being like, okay, I have this opportunity to get super clear on what I want, but instead of looking at the negative emotion, I'm gonna be a fucking pussy about it and I'm gonna go eat. Or once again, shop. It could be procrastinate. It could be go binge on Netflix, because like you can binge on Netflix. You can eat whatever the fuck you want when you're in alignment, right? When you're feeling good. But when you're feeling bad, just ask yourself, what is it that I do want? Because that's all that the thing in front of you is showing you at all times. What you do want. And you're on your way to what you do want. And sometimes, once again, something happens. Something in front of us. Somebody tells us something mean. And you just ask yourself, what is it that I do want right now? So somebody was mean to me. So what is it that I do want? It could be, for instance, that I want to be surrounded by really, really loving people. And so your focus goes there. I want to be surrounded by really considerate, amazing people who clean up their crumbs after themselves. You know what I mean? Or it can be telling you like, I actually don't like my current job and I've been avoiding the feeling of I've been avoiding dealing with that, with the reality of me disliking my current job because I'm afraid what that means. I'm afraid that I actually want a totally different job and I know that I'm in the wrong work for me, right? Like I'm not feeling in alignment here, but I'm going to eat instead of having that realization that this job is just not for me and I want a totally different path for me, right? And it's like, that's all that it is. It's all that it is. And we don't have those honest kind of conversations with ourselves, to get clear on our desires and just follow through on them. Because that's where we'll always be guided. But what we're doing when we're procrastinating, actually dealing with those emotions and looking at those emotions is that we're just taking longer to get to where we want to go. That's it. That's all that it means. So you can't really fuck up. Like you're always supported, you're always guided to where you want to go. But it's just a matter of sometimes blocking the signs. Like there's road signs along the way and you're just like blocking them. And you're like, I don't know. I'm just going to go this way. I'm just not going to follow the road signs that are pointing me in the right direction. I'm just going to go this way. I'm just going to go. Okay. That's all that it means. It's a detour. Negative emotions are just pointing to a detour. Or saying that you're actually right now detouring instead of taking the shortest path. I hope this makes sense, guys. DSL IDKSS says, yes, alignment first. As a personal trainer, same approach. Not everyone is ready for it, though. For sure, but by putting it yourself out there as a person who believes in alignment, who believes that we're vibrational beings in a vibrational universe, and who believes in alignment first, feeling good first. Because that's all that it means. That to me, alignment and feeling good, synonyms. That's all that it is, right? It's not complicated. But yeah, by putting that out there, I'm only attracting people who care about this stuff and who are like, holy fuck, this is exactly what I needed to hear, So me, I'm not interested in the people who are not ready for what I have to say. I'm interested in the people who are ready for what I have to say, for who I am. And they're ready to take the messages I have on board. Because whatever vibe I put out is the people I get, right? Everybody else gets filtered out. And I trust that. I have no fear that I'm going to attract somebody who doesn't get it. It's like, doesn't matter. It's not where my attention goes. Hi, Jennifer Lynn. Good to see you. Navjot is here. Good to see you, Navjot. The one and only Saram says, what if you experience fear, feelings of grief, etc., or are you supposed to learn to transmute emotions? I can't allow myself to always be sad if I need to work. Right. Transmute emotions? That sounds complicated to me. It's not about transmuting emotions. I mean, that's what it will ultimately be. I feel like there's lots of verbiage around alignment that complicates everything, So if you experience fear or feelings of grief, then ask yourself why. But ask yourself, what is it that you do want? That still works in this case. Because there's a reason for why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And it's pointing you to where you want to go, right? Grief and fear, they're not our natural states, right? They're not natural to us. So we have to understand that and be like, okay, but maybe you're practicing a thought pattern that tells you that there's something to fear, or that tells you that there's something that I need to grieve here. Like I know a person that was like, that said, yeah, I need to grieve this relationship. It's going to take time. And then I was grieving the same relationship because we broke up. And I was like, I'm going to need no time to grieve because I know that this is for my benefit. This is happening because it needs to happen. And though maybe it's, the change feels a bit scary or whatever, I know that I don't have to actually grieve. That's a story that this guy's telling himself and he believes it, right? But I don't have to actually grieve. So sometimes we tell ourselves really bullshitty fucking stories about why it is we're feeling the way we're feeling. And it's like the only way you know that what you're telling yourself is true is because it feels good. That's the only way you know. And it's the easiest way. So if I'm telling myself I have to grieve this relationship for a fucking year, I'm gonna have to be alone for the next year and figure my shit out and like not date. I'm just throwing it, this may not be the example we're talking about at all. Your example might be totally different. I'm just throwing this one out because it's one that I lived. And this one that came to me, it's the freshest one, right? Kind of thing. But I didn't, because that didn't feel good. That was like bullshit, And when the guy said, I need to grieve, and it's going to take a while before I could talk to you again or whatever. And I'm like, no, literally that's a story you're telling yourself and it doesn't even feel good to you, but you feel like you need to suffer. And so you're justifying the need to suffer with the story that you're telling. So you're going to grieve, you're going to suffer, and then one day maybe you'll get over it. If you decide that you're the type of person that gets over things, right? Because if the story is that, no, it takes me forever to like get over, when I'm hurt or when I break up with somebody, then that's the fucking experience, right? Literally, it's the stories that we tell ourselves. And we have to get really honest with the stories that we tell ourselves, because sometimes these stories are total fucking bullshit and total fucking nonsense that keeps us stuck instead of blossoming and thriving and living like our true selves. We forget who we really are, and we forget that we get to create our reality. And if I choose that I am somebody who needs to grieve this relationship, then that will be my fucking reality, and I will be grieving instead of not. But like, I'm saying that all these things are optional. All of these things are optional. And we get to decide what it is that we want. And we get to decide. It's so nice. I have money notifications coming up as I'm talking to you. And we get to decide, that we get to have money notifications come up throughout the day without me needing to, like, I'm not actually working. I'm just talking with people, right? And I'm getting money notifications, right? We get to decide how easy life gets to be or how hard it gets to be. And the only one who gets to decide is you, nobody else, right? So we decide what emotions we want to feel and how long we want to feel them. We get to decide. And it's okay to feel the hurt, the pain, all this stuff. It's okay. It's human. It's cool. It's beautiful. Like, it's not like the emotions are bad. It's just like the point. It's by the way, the vibrational scale, it's not like it's good here and bad here. But what it is true here and untrue here, and we can feel all the, lower vibe emotions. We can feel them, but we have to also understand that the longer we feel them, the more similar things come into our experience. So it becomes a decision of how long do I want to be here? Because, after a while you're like, nah, I'm tired of fucking being frustrated all the time, or I'm tired of being sad all the time, or I'm tired of being angry all the time. I kind of want to fucking laugh now. I'm ready for that, okay? And then you bounce out of it. And some people, it takes forever. Some people, it takes longer. But it might sound a little simplistic for some, but life gets to be simple. If it's complicated, it's of the ego. If it's simple, it's of love, right? And I believe in simple. Oh, I believe in simple. I hope that made sense. Thierry was here. My husband. Hi. I don't know if you're still here, but hi. Hi, Michaela says, this pop talk is bomb. I really needed it today. Thank you. I really hope it gets turned into a podcast audio version. It would be so helpful to listen again when I get stuck in negatives. Amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, Michaela. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so these videos will go into the More Than Skin membership. And then this particular pop talk we are recording into a podcast. So yes, this will be available in an audio version. But the thing is, I'm also going to be compiling bundles of like the best pop talks and turn them into Audible books. So those will be available too, so that you guys can take it with you and listen to this stuff, because I understand that like repetition is the mother of all learning, right? Me personally, I repeat this shit to myself all the time, okay? All the time. I literally brainwash myself as much as I can to remember what is true so that I don't get distracted with what is not, right? Because it's very easy to get distracted with what is not true, especially if you're surrounded by people who are hallucinating, in other words, who are stuck in their old stories, their old habits, and that do not realize that they've always had their creator panties on, but instead of putting on the deliberate creator panties, you have the unintentional, one, and you're just like making random shit, and then you think that you're a victim of the shit that you're making, and you're like, I don't like what I'm creating, but you don't realize that you're creating it, right? The one and only Saram says, you are amazing, thank you. Yay, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for this discussion. I love when you guys have these good ass questions that get me rolling and inspired. My K Beauty Bible says, hi, I'm back. Good to see you. I have a question. I've been recently thinking about a fuckboy who hurt me like a year ago. We work at the same place, and I decided long ago to not talk to him anymore. Okay. In order not to still be hurt by him again, I still think about him and that he screwed up many things. And I don't know how to stop thinking about his damage and everything, and I'm just tired. I'm almost thinking I still want him in my life even when I know he's a bad person for me. Well, you are aware that you are thinking about a fuckboy who has hurt you in the past. So that's a good sign. Right? That's a good sign. But I find that we're giving your thoughts. My K Beauty Bible says, do you have any recommendations to stop thinking about this? Yeah. I think that when we're a bit lonely or bored, we allow our old thoughts to come back and entertain us. So it's really important to get back into alignment and, I don't know, surround yourself with the people that you love, the things that center you, whether it's, when you feel really passionate when you're writing an article or, I don't know, helping somebody, blah, 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 whatever it is that, you enjoy doing, do more of that so that you're not allowing your mind to wander. Because there's nothing more dangerous than a wandering mind, because it will, first you're thinking about the fuck boy, then you're thinking about, oh, maybe, yeah, we did have fun together, and then you're convincing yourself like, oh, maybe we should hang out again. It will be totally innocent. And now that I know who he is, he can't hurt me again. And then you get yourself back in that fucking pattern. That's how the ego works. It's insidious. That fucker, it will start with a little thing and then it will create a bigger story and a bigger story. And then in the end, you're convinced and you're like, there you are, living the old story again, right? So if you're a deliberate creator, you're thinking about your future and you're thinking about what is it that you actually want to experience, and you're not spending time in the past, because spending time in the past will just recreate the past. It's it's just a hamster wheel. And then once you get on that fucking hamster wheel, it's hard to get off, because then you really have to consciously get off the hamster wheel. Right? So it's better not to get back onto the hamster wheel to begin with. Does this make sense? Guys, I have 1 minute remaining. Jennifer Lynn says, me too, exactly what I needed to hear. Yay, Jennifer Lynn, I'm so happy. DSL IDKSS says, where is the link to More Than Skin membership? Thank you. It is in my bio here. If you click the link in my bio, guys, you'll have my routine review service, the Cure It With Love coaching community, the More Than Skin membership, where this baby is going to go. Yep, it's fucking amazing, that membership. Like, it's my favorite place on the internet. My K Beauty Bible says, oh my God, that's exactly how I'm thinking about him. Thank you so much, Olena. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Remember, guys, you deserve to live your dream life. Nothing less but your dream life. So don't settle by telling yourself that, oh, that thing in the past will do. No, it won't do. That's why it's in the past, right? Keep moving forward, keep looking forward, keep focusing on what it is that you want, and use the present moment to only gain further clarity on what it is that you do want. And focus on that and get excited about your fucking amazing future. Okay? This was Olena of popthepimple.com. I'll see you guys next time.